I've recorded your session for the rookies. They'll have no excuses for sloppy technique. Good. Show your enemy what a real fight looks like. Look at them fall! What I wouldn't give to fight again beyond the walls. I would tear out a Vex's heart with my teeth. I would sear the Cabal with my burning light, challenge the fallen Kells to personal combat and scatter them. Let them come! This is their fate. One after another!
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump right into the video. We're going to be talking about mods today, but in particular, we're going to go over the combat style mod socket, also known as the Charge for Flight socket, the Whale socket, the Warmind socket, that one at the very end. Whole video dedicated about that and understanding what goes in it, how it works, how those mods work in particular. So going over to the pieces of gear, each piece of gear has an energy associated with them, right? Arc, solar, what is it? Stasis, instantly had a brain fart. Energy associated with each piece of armor, arc, solar, void, stasis. Got it right that time. So the energy count on there depends, not depends, but it tells you how many mods you can have on your piece of gear. The amount of energy, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 energy is what you want to get. That's the end goal for your favorite piece of armor, because not only does that masterwork the armor, but it also gives it +2 to every stat on that armor piece. That's what's important about the masterwork process, besides getting the 10 energy. You want to have that total number rise up +10 on whatever that was. Now, you can also go to the toggle stat display down here, and that will show you the impact on, if you put that piece of gear on, this is how it will affect your armor. It will give you this such and such benefits, so you don't have to mentally do the calculations on your own in your brain. If you don't want to, you just toggle display it right there. That little helmet that's always been there that probably no one's ever clicked on. But the mods, all right, briefly we'll go over how do you get these mods, how many different types of mods are there, how many more of these mod videos are coming out. All right, that's another good question. There are various amounts of mods in the game. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the combat style mod socket, because I feel like that one is one of the most important, because that builds on creating more builds. So the head, the armor, the class, the chest piece, all that, legacy and raid. Where do you get these mods from? The mods, if you go to the collections tab and you go to your mods area and hover over the mods, it will tell you where you get them from. Banshee, Ada 1, faction, packages, upgrade, rewards. That means going over to Ada, checking her out every single day. I don't know why her system's set up like that. Go over to the drifter. If you play Gambit, as you level up packages and stuff like that, you will get mods, the ones that you don't have. Factions right now are Zavala, Crucible, Lord Shax, Drifter, Gambit. We already talked about that guy. And Banshee 44. All these guys you level up, you turn in their materials, you get more mods that way, of the general ones. If you want more mods than that, what's his name, Lord Saladin will also give you mods with turning in those packages. So going back to the energy, having 10 energy is the end goal. Like I said, that's the bread and butter. You have the general mod socket, the whatever that piece is called, head, chest, arms, legs, etc. 2 of those in the middle, and then you have the combat style mod at the end, right? for the sake of the video, I'm going to call it, you have the general mod socket, you have the 2 in the middle, you have the 1 at the end. Okay? You have the general mod socket, you have the 2 in the middle, and the 1 at the end. Now, when you hover over the last one, it technically is called the combat style mod socket. That's a lot of words. It's the 1 at the end, right? Charge of light mod socket, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I digress. The last one, the combat style mod socket, the last one at the end doesn't change for the most part when it comes to general mods. The only mods that change in that final column are ones associated with the energy that the armor is, right? I'm gonna go over that again. The mods in this last socket do not change unless it is specifically changing the element to which it's associated with that will tailor more towards the build. All the other general mods are there. All the artifact mods are there. The only ones that change are the ones specific to the energy. So, example, solar has the grenade charge with light mod there. It has all the fire, the solar, all the solar, Warmind mods there. Everything associated with that energy. I'll give you more examples, okay? If I go to another piece of armor, a chest piece, and go to that last socket, you will see all the mods are still in the same category. It's part of that whole socket. Same mods, same solar mod, same general mods. If you go to an arc piece of gear, the mods change slightly because of the energy associated with that piece of armor. I'd want to make that as clear as day. Hopefully you didn't understand that as clear as mud. The armor associated with the energy in the final column only changes slightly when it comes to the energy associated with. So solar focuses on auto rifles, tracer rifles, machine guns, grenades, rocket launchers, regular grenades. It is like the explodey one, but the solar aspect of it is there. The arc helmet, you see the slight change that goes with the arc. The arc focuses on melee. It focuses on submachine guns and swords and pulse rifles, I think, something like that. Slightly changes because its focus is on something else based off of the energy of that piece of armor. Now, I will go over each individual one of these categories: the charge of light, the wells, the Warminds, all those. I'm going to go over them and tell you how to use them, tell you what to look for when you do use them, and how you activate them when you're in the field. Now, I may repeat this later on because none of my videos are scripted. It's just done off the cusp. So when we get to the well mods, like right here, the well mods can only be activated in PvE, Grandmasters, Strikes, Open World. I've seen them slightly being able to be used in Gambit by some thing of a miracle. I don't know how specifically people are activating them in Gambit, but I don't think they're supposed to work in Gambit either. Maybe that's just a slight miscalculation on Bungie's part because Gambit's weird with PvE, PvP. I think they should work in Gambit, but I don't know. Maybe that'll break Gambit because whatever. But as you see, the well mods work somewhat like the charge flight mods. You got to do something, and then something happens. You use a melee. Use the charge melee, you use a grenade, you use a finisher, you use a weapon, you use something, hit the opponent, kill it, and boom, these shiny spheres come out of them, which are called quote-unquote whales. I don't know why they went with the word whales, because we already had laurels, or whatever. It's a whole nother conversation. But the whale mods, you do a thing, and they activate. PvE. Charge of light is the most versatile. Charge of light Can be activated in PvE, PvP. They're the most sought after. Charge of Light goes with everything. Charge of Light is the most powerful. Charge of Light is the reason why that mod socket even still exists. If we would have got a whale mods before Charge of Light mods, I don't know if people even would have really cared too much about keeping, focusing on putting stuff in that last socket. I don't know. Warmind cells are quite powerful. They're really powerful. That's why they had to nerf them so much. But Charge of Light acts differently. Charge of Light has these green ones and they have these yellow ones, right? So the yellow ones are the activated effects of Charge of Light. Now don't get lost here. The yellow ones are the activated things that happen with Charge of Light. Once you're charged with light and you do a thing, it will do what that effect is, such as the reactive pulse. You're charged with light, you get weak on health, you get shot, a wave of arc energy will come out and it'll tag two opponents. It's a way weaker version of Doom Marchers, and you got to do more to activate it. But the blast radius, if you get multiple kills with a grenade launcher, breach, or powerful, then you will become Charged with Light. The more you stack on that, the less enemies you have to kill. So if you kill multiple enemies with a grenade launcher, you become Charged with Light. High energy fire, once you're Charged with Light, gives you an extra 20% while you're Charged with Light up until that kill. So having two activators on is not always necessarily the best thing to do. You may want to focus more on multiple ways to become Charged with Light and only have one activator and one specific activator. Like one of the solar Charged with Light things, when you throw a grenade and get a specific kill, it heals you type of deal. A little bit of a harder activation. The pulse reactive wave is kind of niche. It's not it was good back in the day. It got nerfed too, but not many people used it enough to even notice that they did that. But having more activators on isn't necessarily the way to go, because you can mix and match. Charge with Light is extremely versatile. Charge with Light can be used with Warminds. It can be used with whales. There are many different ways to become Charged with Light. Now, if you are going to watch the background gameplay. In the background gameplay, you'll see me become Charged with Light. I'm doing a thing, and it gets me to Charged with Light. I don't necessarily have to put it with taking charge. Picking up orbs of light gives me Charged with Light. I can do a thing and activate being Charged with Light. So, taking this slow so you can see me use the grenade launcher, use the Charged with Light, see it build up and see it get taken away. Just going to go through this, what is this called? Lost sector, to slowly demonstrate Charged with Light. Now, I make my way through here pretty easy because I have the reactive pulse. I have the extra 20% damage. I have multiple ways to become Charged with Light. And this isn't even using Charged with Light in an overpowered sense. The overpowered sense of using Charged with Light was the intro video that you've seen there. Stay tuned to the end of the video to see the full Charged with Light Stasis thing going on. That needs its own whole video, but I thought I'd tease it in here so you guys can see why we don't activate Stasis mods in PvP, because it's just broken. The amount of orbs you can generate is ridiculous. The whole left side of the screen is it just stays. Mangum Sun created an orb. He just all the time. So Charged with Light, you can stack up to natively you can have 2 Charges with Light, but most people will like more Charges with Light, so then you can activate multiple abilities, right? So once you die with those Charges with Light, they go away. They don't carry over to your next life, so you got to spend it. You can't take it with you. The Warmind cells are really unique because you can only activate them with specific weapons. The Warmind cells also are, you have to have the weapon and you do a thing. You kill the enemy. And as soon as you put on one of these mods for the Warmind cells, it gives you the passive ability to, you get a kill, you have a chance to make a Warmind cell. So Most people thought that that was specifically tied to global reach, but that's not the case. The weapons that you need to make Warmind cells are Seraph 7th and Ikelos weapons. They're going to be on the screen shortly, but going over these Warmind cells, they can be used in a variety of different fashions. You get the kill, you can either shoot the Warmind cell or pick up the Warmind cell. The Warmind cell creates an explosion, and depending on what mods you have attached to it, does something different for that explosion. Depending on if you can pick it up, will change the effect of what you can do with that Warmind cell. And these are the 7th Seraph and the Ikelos weapons. If I've missed any, please let me know in the comment section below, or what other weapons count as Ikelos or 7th Seraph weapons. But there are a good amount of them that aren't sunset in the game. But there's a lot of them that's been overshadowed now. So, you know, why would you use them? I mean, they're still good. Don't get me wrong. And you can get them from Banshee 44 by turning in tokens and, well, gunsmith materials. There we go. But once you get the Warmind cell, this is what they look like. This is a Warmind cell. And it will be all sparkly and shiny and all that. I walked into it. That's how you collect them. Now, if you're able to create another Warmind cell, like I will here shortly, you will see that you can also shoot this Warmind cell. Again, depending on what mods you have, it could take more bullets to destroy that Warmind cell, or it could take less. The explosion could be bigger, the explosion could be less. The explosion causes AoE damage, blows up everything around it. So you gotta be careful when using Warmind cells. You could accidentally blow yourself up. It is a hazardous material to be on the ground and not really kind to those who stand next to it. Now, I don't think Warmind cells would be too overpowered in PvP. They're about as good as charged with light orbs. You're gonna spend your time shooting the thing. I mean, it's not really, I don't think it's really that big of a deal if you were to have them in PvP. But I don't know. Maybe I'm missing some grander scheme of why we can't pick up Warmind cells in PvP. Maybe I think they've got toned down enough to where they could actually be a viable playstyle in the game. Because you have to get 2 to 3 kills with it, and not many people are going into Crucible just getting 2 to 3 kills rapidly like that. I say about a good 40% of the community, but that's not 50% of the community. That's not half of them, right? I'm not that good at the game myself, so I know that there can't be too many people that's that much better at securing kills with older weapons to create Warmind cells. Then you got to secure the bag. I mean, Supremacy got taken out of the game because people didn't want to go collect crests or something like that. You think people want to pick up Warmind cells? I think it would be niche at best. I don't think it would break the game at all. Warmind cells take a lot to actually make them viable. Well, make them come out. You got to be like a dedicated Warmind builder in order to just make it just really pop off like that. Eventually, I think they may stray away from the 7th Seraph things, or they'll have more Seraph weapons in the game. They got to do something because they really kind of streamlined it to be focused on one thing, creating these Warmind cells. I think it's going to go more of like splash damage type deal. When you do splash damage with arc or something, you have a chance to create a Warmind cell as long as you have that mod equipped. That seems like the better route. Now, I know you're thinking about this whole time, okay, what about these Stasis mods? The Stasis mods. The Stasis mods are so overpowered for what they came out with, because whales, as you've seen at the beginning of the video, are kind of hard to make. They're weird. But if they were able to be made in Crucible, well, shards count as whales. Well, whales can count as charged with light. Charged with light can be used with multiple activators. Charged with light can also be used with Warmind cells. So by making shards that Stasis people can make turn them into whales, it becomes bananas. It becomes crazy. And you go ahead and watch this background gameplay footage here of me using Stasis, Charge of Flight, with the shards, activating the whales, and doing a little bit of extra big AoE damage super gains in this lost sector. The way that they interact with each other, the shards, the whales, the Charge of Flight system, it would just be, it would be insane. There's a good reason why we can't use these mods in activities that would be competitive at best, because I'm just creating so many orbs of light, and I'm not even worried about being in here. I almost got my super back. I used that at the beginning of the lost sector, so yeah, it's just kind of broken, just on a whole another level. You freeze the enemies, you slow the enemies, you make shards. The shards turn into whales again, they turn into orbs of light. I pick up the shards to get my melee energy back. I could use a Kickstarter, get some of my grenade energy back. And then as I kill frozen targets, I get super energy on that. On top of using a weapon that has thresh, that gives me super energy on top of that. While using a mod that gives me the shards, that give me super energy back. Using a weapon that can create massive explosions, creating orbs of power. Orbs of power gives you super energy back. Do you guys see why we can't use this in PvP? Again, just so you guys will know how to find the mods, you can go over to your collections tab. Head, chest, arms, legs, class, general, combat style mods. What this video was about, the combat style mods in the last socket for Charge of Flight builds and understanding those better. The holster mods, the ghost mods, all can be achieved from doing general faction rank package upgrades. They come in droves. You get them in Iron Banner packages turn-ins too. If this video helped you out on understanding mods a little bit better, share it with a friend. Aiming for 5 likes on this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.